วัสดีค่ะเมื่อพม่าเพื่อนบ้านของเรานะคะตัดสินใจที่จะปฏิรูปประเทศเดินหน้าสู่การเป็นประชาธิปไตยทั่วโลกก็จับตามองนะคะและมีความเคลื่อนไหวความเปลี่ยนแปลงมากมายที่กำลังเกิดขึ้นในพม่าล่าสุดประธานาธิบดีบารักโอบามาก็เป็นประธานาธิบดีสหรัฐคนแรกที่ยังอยู่ในตำแหน่งที่ไปเยือนพม่านะคะซึ่งตรงนี้ก็มีความสำคัญอย่างยิ่งละค่ะเป็นการส่งสัญญาณชัดเจนว่าสนับสนุนให้พม่านั้นเดินต่อไปในเส้นทางนี้มองเรามองโลกวันนี้จะพาท่านผู้ชมไปฟังมุมมองของนักเคลื่อนไหวชาวพม่าชื่อว่าคุณหม่องซานีเป็นนักเคลื่อนไหวฝีปากกล้าก็ว่าได้นะคะเพราะว่าเป็นผู้ที่กล้าวิพากษ์วิจารณ์ทั้งรัฐบาลทหารและคุณองซานซูจีด้วยดิฉันได้พูดคุยกับคุณหม่องซานีในหลายประเด็นที่น่าสนใจนะคะอย่างเช่นว่าทุกอย่างที่กำลังเกิดขึ้นในพม่าที่มีคนกำลังตื่นเต้นกันทั่วโลกนั้นเป็นเรื่องจริงหรือว่าเป็นแค่ภาพลวงตากันแน่หนทางต่อไปในข้างหน้าสำหรับคุณองซานซูจีจะเป็นยังไงในแง่ของการเมืองและสำหรับประธานาธิบดีเต็งเส็งเองบทบาทของเขาจริงๆแล้วมีความเป็นตัวของตัวเองมากน้อยขนาดไหนหรือว่ามีใครชักใยอยู่เบื้องหลังนะคะและจากวันนี้ไปจนถึงปี 2015 ซึ่งจะมีการเลือกตั้งประธานาธิบดีครั้งต่อไปมีประเด็นอะไรบ้างที่เราจะต้องจับตาดูเป็นพิเศษค่ะ
Zarni, the changes taking place now in Burma are going at a very fast pace. What are some of the significant reforms going on right now?
Well, the most significant outcome, is that the people no longer fear to talk about politics. The people at all levels, like government officials, the ordinary citizens, political dissidents, and whatnot. And also, the other significant outcome of the current reforms is that the different organizations have sprung up. Yeah, people who had been denied or deprived of the right to form associations and the right to public speech. They're now basically taking the opportunity to build themselves up, both individually and institutionally. So these are positive aspects of the outcome of changes that are happening. But they're also very, very negative and I would say devastating consequences of reforms. And then one definitely is the war, the active war against the Kachin people in northern Burma, where the a lot of natural resources are. And then the second most obvious devastating outcome of the current change process is basically the genocide, ethnic cleansing of Rohingya and now not just Rohingya, other Muslims in western province of Rakhine, and it hasn't stopped. And I cannot find any more accurate word to describe or characterize the situation in Rakhine state as other than genocide.
Is the government trying to do anything at all to improve the situation in Rakhine?
The government is not above the fray. That's the problem. Yeah. So when you have two different ethnic communities or religious communities who, in sometimes they live, they coexisted in peace. Sometimes there have been tensions. That's natural. Yeah. But when this kind of so-called sectarian violence flare up, usually armed forces, police force, presidents, and other political leaders, they step in and they try to be referee. Yeah,
right. To stop the violence.
Yeah, exactly. Impose martial law, whatever. To stop the violence. But when the state security forces and the state media and the politicians from both sides, including Aung San Suu Kyi and the ruling group, they are manifestly biased. Yeah. In favor of Rakhine Buddhists, against the well-being of Rohingya Muslims, then you have a situation where the state is party to the conflict.
So how do you think the problem will end?
Well, I don't feel very optimistic. Yeah, and I think at best, after the current violence subsided or ended, yeah. The situation that seems to be emerging as the only viable solution because there has been like so much racial hatred whipped up not only in Rakhine State but across Burma among the Buddhist population, the general Buddhist population, as well as other ethnic groups against the Rohingyas. The only viable solution at this point appears to be segregation. Yeah, basically, like this is very, very tragic because after 20 years after the fall of apartheid in South Africa, right in the middle of ASEAN region, we are seeing apartheid, and this violence did not take place only like over the past 4 months. The violence against Rohingya, numbering 800,000, has been going on since the military came to power. And then finally on the Rohingya issue, not all Rakhines hate Rohingyas. The Rakhines are like Thais, like you have different opinions about different things, and the Rohingyas have different opinions. There are racist Rakhines who want to kill them all or like drive them out of the Rakhine State and keep make Rakhine State only for Rakhines and Buddhists. Yeah,
right.
And so, but there are also good Rakhines who have lived with Rohingyas for generations, and they were, intermarriages, they were friends, they grew up together, they eat at each other's homes.
How can ASEAN or the international community at large help solve this issue?
Well, first thing, to his credit, Dr. Surin Pitsuwan, the Secretary General of ASEAN, characterized the issue very, very correctly. He said this is not just an internal issue of Burma, or Myanmar as he called it. This is an issue that can destabilize the region, in the form of the rise of Islamic radicalism. Put it that way. Yeah.
Do you call your country Burma or Myanmar now?
No, I still call it Burma. It's not that I love the colonial term, because this is Burma is the anglicized pronunciation of Burma. We call ourselves Burma in oral language. In writing, we write Myanmar, but when we address each other, we use much more explosive tonal sound. That's why Myanmar becomes Burma in our language. Yeah? And the military changed the name of the country in 1989 after the bloodbath. Yeah? From Burma to Myanmar. They thought that they would start with a clean slate by calling the country Myanmar instead of Burma.
So should the world say Burma or Myanmar?
Well, I think like
it doesn't matter.
I mean, the trend is the world is going along with the UN recognized new name Myanmar, but I call Burma when I want to refer to the country as a whole. But I call it Myanmar when I want to describe the ethnic cleansing, poverty, atrocities, and still dictatorial nature of the regime. So I want to make sure that people associate the word Myanmar with ethnic cleansing, colonial war of resources against the Kachins, and the dodgy nature of the leadership. So when it comes to those like devastatingly negative aspects of the country, I use the word Myanmar.